Hey everybody, this is enlightenmentANAVRIN here. This is going to be my video over retro versus modern video games, like pros and cons of them. Modern games also including digital games like they're on Steam. They don't have a hard copy. Okay, so the pros and cons on that. This is a video basically based on what Gamester81 was saying with his retro versus modern games argument or whatever. Retro being the year 1999 and below, so like Nintendo 64, Super Nintendo, and like all the 80s consoles, which I didn't grow up with. So basically, with me, what I'm just gonna say right off, with my own opinion, I would say retro is the best. Not counting Dreamcast, Nintendo GameCube, and all those as we're counting those as modern, I guess, because once it started going into like a disc instead of a cartridge, that's basically what the modern is. Honestly, my personal opinion, I would rather work with my collection, start working backwards. Like I just recently purchased a Dreamcast because I never had one. They're really hard to find where they're in working condition nowadays in the 2015 time frame where we're at now. But that, and I bought a GameCube a couple years ago for my birthday, so I thought that was really cool to catch up on all the Mario games and everything, like Mario Sunshine and Mario Kart Double Dash and a bunch of games like that that I really liked. But I don't know, put your arguments in the comments on this. You might not agree with me or whatever, but basically retro, I like it because it's a cartridge. You can't really mess it up. You can't scratch it up. A lot of the games back then came with the cases. The only cases I really still have are the Sega Genesis, because it's that hard plastic clamshell box that you can't really destroy. Like you can drop it and throw it around and it won't really break. As opposed to Super Nintendo, which I don't have any cases for because they were all cardboard and they're all falling apart. But I have a little clear thing that snaps on the bottom of the cartridge for those. But that's pretty well. With modern games, there is cases. It's just like it's a CD case. I always like having everything complete, or CIB complete inbox. But digital games, there's no case, there's no cartridge, there's no nothing. It's all going to be like a cloud save, or how Steam, how you can like save stuff to your profile name as long as you link it up with your email and all that. On the So basically on that one, I'm saying that cartridge ones are better, or physical disc is better versus digital, but still cartridge overall is better because that's retro. On the digital side of things, like Steam, I know it's easier for developers to release a game on Steam minus the hard copy, so you can cut out the middleman of producing the actual disc or anything now. I know there's still new games that they release for old consoles, those new old games that are they put them back on a cartridge. I like that idea. I don't own any like that. I'd like to, but I think it's kind of neat. But still, I just don't like not having the game. So if it like gets lost, or if because not all those digital video game like websites, not all of them can you save it, or even if you can, it doesn't seem as secure as like I have the disc right here, I have the cartridge, or just it's just on the cloud save or in my email or whatever. That doesn't seem like that reliable here in the future, whenever like 5-10 years have passed. Also, you can't look at it on the shelf. If a friend comes over, what games you want to play, usually you go to the shelf and you look at it. You can't look at it if it's all digital. I mean, it just doesn't have the same feel. You can look at it on a screen, but it's just not the same. That's how I kind of feel with emulators too. Retro games, like Gamester was saying, you didn't have saves. You had like 3 or 4 lives. Like in the original Sonic the Hedgehog, which I played all the time. You got the power-ups throughout the game, and then you had the continues if you collect enough rings. You got the little Sonic tapping his foot at the end of the stage when it collected up everything, your time and rings and stuff. But you relied on those continues like crazy. Now, if you're playing something like the Disney's Aladdin for the Super Nintendo, which I also played that one a lot, there was these little like faces of like Jafar and Abu and Aladdin, and if you matched them up right, like it told you at the end of the game what it was, and then you matched them up, and that was your save, basically. You still start off with 3 lives. If you died with 99 lives, shut off the game, turn it on, put in that code, if you will, then it was, and put you back where you were with just 3 lives. That's how it was with all the Super Star Wars games also, except it was numbers and letters and stuff. So, retro, didn't have as many lives. Modern, PlayStation 2 was the best because it was a removable memory card. That's by far the best one, since you had to have that. You take it to a friend's house, you had it there. That's why I love PlayStation 2. That's why I don't love PlayStation 3, because it saved to the hard drive. Say you had your character creation characters on any of the Soul Calibur games, which would have been 4 and 5 for the PlayStation 3. You can't take those saves to the other friend's house on their PlayStation 3. You just have to bring the whole console, unless you want to worry about taking the hard drive out and taking it over there, which I don't even want to mess with that, because I don't want to mess it up and worry about losing it and losing all the saves ever, everything I've ever done. So that's why I don't like modern gaming. That's one of the huge reasons. You can't take the saves with you unless you can save them on PSN, Xbox Live, whatever, log in on the other friend's console at their house and do it from there. But then they don't have their saves because then you're on your profile. So really you still can't do it. So huge argument on that. So retro's better on that. Stuff like music and graphics, I'm not going to get into that. It's of the times. They're both good. Depends on what you like. Do you like actual like music? Maybe it's classical. Maybe it's like rock and roll, whatever, on the modern, or do you want like the like bit tunes type music? Like I always loved Donkey Kong Country 1 through 3. All of those soundtracks, all 3 of the Sonic the Hedgehog soundtracks, all of the Disney games for the Super Nintendo or the Sega Genesis, whichever one, like Lion King, Aladdin and stuff. It was like the song, you could actually sing to it, and it was the whole length of the song. That was really great. I like that. So blast processing for you on that, on the Genesis versions of those Disney games. But yeah, so both on that one, the music. Retro, as in 1999 and below, again, wasn't really with the internet as much. There wasn't an internet fan base. There wasn't like, oh, Zelda Ocarina of Time, this is the best game. Everybody loves this. Look at all these forums and fan art and all this stuff for that game. I didn't know that game was like a huge success. I'm not a Zelda fan by any means. I can be. I've just never played that game. So I'm not dissing Zelda or anything. But I didn't know it was a good game until people started mentioning that online, and people, my friends, in person, face to face, were mentioning that. And that kind of made me want to play the game, because that was like Nintendo 64, and that was like my all-time favorite console. Number one's Nintendo 64. That's how it's gonna be. It's Nintendo 64. PlayStation 2's right there. PlayStation 2, and then below that's probably Super Nintendo. But anyway, basically retro, no internet fan base, no way of you knowing unless you knew it from words of mouth, from your school, from your friends, from your parents, from whatever. That's how I figured out things, versus modern $19.99 and up, which is more with the internet. I know there was old internet consoles, but I'm not going into that. Just in general, retro. Since I grew up with the N64, as I said, that had 4 controller ports, so 4 controllers. There was a lot of 4-player games. That's when Mario Party came out, 1 through 3. You've got Mario Kart. That could have been 4-player. GoldenEye 007. That was 4-player. Played the crap out of that. Don't look at the other people's screen because it was a split screen like that. Split screens, whether it's 4 or whether it's 2. That's a thing of the past. That's why I'm working backwards in my collection. That's another huge reason there isn't hardly any split screen games for the modern. There is on like the Mario Kart Double Dash and the GameCube, that counts as modern. You can play that side by side. But just anything that's, I don't know, Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2 on the PlayStation 2, and I'm pretty sure they were both on the Xbox. Those were split screen, whether you were on the same team or against each other in a big campaign, running around or whatever, kill everybody thing. And then that was probably the last split screen game I really played in the same room with my friends or family or whatever. Because now it's just online and you're chatting with people. I guess if you chat with them, you can relate to them. If you're not chatting to them, they kill you. Then it's just like, why'd you do that? I don't know. You don't know if they're mad. You don't know their emotions. Can't convey emotions through the screen without seeing their face. So that's just tough on that. But another compare and contrast retro versus modern is the length of the games, how long it took you to beat them. My all-time favorite game, Shadow Man for the Nintendo 64, that was a pre-internet, talk to your friends, talk to everybody you know, you're lost, that's a major, you collect an item, you go back and you have to get something to keep progressing, kind of like Mario 64 and Banjo-Kazooie, because all of those you collected something, and you probably need to go back with that newfound talent or item to progress the game. So basically, you just needed to be like in the know. Like if you had, like I had that Tips and Tricks magazine that had like the cheat codes in it and everything. So all that type of stuff. But you just had to figure out how to do it back then. And that still made the length of the game like forever compared to now. Because now you're like, oh, I'm stuck. What do I need to do? And then you just like typity type. I need, this key. We need this key to open this door. This is where the key is. And then it's like a big forum, and it's just going to be spoilers. That's why I don't read any forums or wikis or anything unless I have beaten the game, or unless like I don't care. Like Assassin's Creed, I've played and beat without cheating, as in looking it up where you're supposed to go. First Assassin's Creed and Assassin's Creed 2, and I'm in the middle of Brotherhood right now because of the internet fan base. I already know a lot of the spoilers, and I know roughly like who dies, what happens, and all that type of stuff. It's just, I really like that series, at least Ezio so far. I already know the newer games aren't that good. I don't want to get into that. That's a whole other tangent. But I mean, once it's not Ezio, I know it's not going to be as good. But I don't care. But the length of like Banjo-Kazooie from start to finish was years. Years and years and years. Mario 64, years and years and years. Yes, I did beat both of those games 100%. I beat Shadow Man 100%. I beat 007 GoldenEye 100% with all the bonus stages, and then you can put in the cheat codes and get all the infinite ammo and all that crap. But those took years on each game. Now go back to like Super Nintendo. Super Star Wars took years. Go back to Sega Genesis, Disney, The Lion King took years. Bubsy, never beat it till this day. That game's hard. It's just kind of like they last forever and they just imprint in your brain, and you're just like, that's a really awesome game. Super Nintendo, Yoshi's Island, one of my all-time favorite games. That took forever. Yes, I've maxed out that game. We're 100% on everything where you unlock all the bonus stages like Poochie Ain't Stupid and all those super stages that are harder than crap to beat. All three of the Donkey Kong countries, speaking of hard and crap to beat, just all of them, you just get it where it's memorized, it's a repetition. But like, fast forward to modern, PlayStation 3, no, I did not look up anything because I wanted to play this game start to finish without cheating, looking it up once again, was The Darkness. That game probably only took me like 3 months to beat it, of, come home after work, play it, like, since it was interesting and it was a story, you kind of wanted to see with a story, kind of like read the next page in the book, you don't just want to stop. I probably played it maybe 4.5 hours all at once, whether I was lost or stuck or whatever, for like, every other day or whatever, and that was like 3 months, and then I beat it. The Darkness 2, now I was very, very excited for that game, which is also for PlayStation 3. It might be for Xbox 360. I don't know, because I don't have Xbox. I haven't got into that yet. It's pretty much, that whole game was like 15 hours, which was maybe 2 or 3 weeks of solid playing it, because it was a good story, and it was good gameplay, and it was really, really well mapped to the controller. It wasn't just like, oh, I'm hitting the button for fire, and it was all, you use all four of the triggers for both of your guns and both of the darkness arm things or whatever. But it worked really good. I liked The Darkness 2. I'm not dissing that game. It was a great game. Just like 10 out of 10. Would buy, would play it again. It does have a New Game Plus, which is cool. New Game Plus, neat thing in the modern. That's not in the retro. Retro's just, it had good replay value. Super Mario 3 had good replay value. It still does. You want to pop that in and play that again because you want to be the Tanuki and you want to do all that crazy stuff and go and make sure you flew up at the top and make sure you found everything through the clouds and all that. But I think that was a pretty cool deal. People are calling. But let me know what you think on that, because this like length of games, I think they're both great, whether it's modern or retro. I think that's a pretty cool thing with both of them. But I don't know. There's a lot of arguments in this. There's a lot of them. I had to write them down. Oh, like DLC. That's why I don't like modern. Don't like DLC. I don't like all that crap you have to buy. I don't like loading the game every time you buy a new game, like Gamester said in the video right off. Or things like I was saying in The Darkness, there's a online mode in that where it's like a death match where you can play as the Darklings or you can play as Jackie or whatever. Nobody's playing that anymore because it's PlayStation 3 and it was an early PlayStation 3 game, like 2007. Nobody's gonna be playing that. I didn't have the game in the time that was out. Kind of like Max Payne 3, which I'd like to play for the online deathmatchness or whatever it is, because that seems really cool. But I haven't even played the second Max Payne yet, back on PlayStation 2. So, I've beat the first one. I need to play the second one. I'd like to play them in order, because I know it's a story. I'm not gonna spoil it on that, but it's kind of like, it's pretty interesting. Like, what the heck happens? Who are these people? I don't want us to jump to the third one. Same with all the Assassin's Creeds. I don't want to jump to Unity or whatever the heck the newest one is right now, because I'm still on Brotherhood because I was late in getting them, because I was late in being able to afford and purchase a PlayStation 3. But yeah, this video is getting too long. Rate, subscribe. Let me know your arguments on that, because I have a bunch of them, and I'll comment and respond and everything. So let me know, and see you guys later. Bye.